That's zero. That's zero. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rain Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. Dan Vaughn with you as we roll on a Wednesday. Let's roll the open. Here we go with 3, 2, 1. Let's roll it. Promise. Oh, yes. Rain Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. Glad you're along on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. Glad you're along on a Wednesday. Dan Vaughn with you, voice the Monarchs. Doing a little adjusting there. Let's put that graphic up there. I promise I'll slide over in a moment when I do this. Hold on. Up. Ooh, how about that? Not terrible. A little better this week. A little better. Glad you're along. Let's check the lineup card today for a Wednesday. We are less than a month away. As a matter of fact, 1 month from now, we'll all be walking to the ballpark for a game against the Chicago Dogs in Kansas City. That'll be the third series of the season. Yes, that's a month from now. We've already began. We'll have 6 games in the books already. Of course, we start the 13th of May. Mike Hinneman scheduled to join us. Him from the pen. Monarchs pitching coach will be joining us in just a few minutes. A little hot stove news. A little look back at last night. Not a lot. We're kind of getting in that in-season mode slowly but surely. The shows get shorter, and we really kind of push on to kind of bring you almost to get to the point we get to rolling at the ballpark. We're coming to you daily with Monarchs Mocha at lunchtime and all the different things we've got going on. A lot of great things going on. I might get to that this week. If not, I'll get to it next week. But some of the fun things we've got coming in broadcast for you. We got I'm really excited about the video product we got going on this year. But let's start things off, and let's do 2 good minutes of DV. And it's where I take my David Letterman, if you're my age or if you're older, kind of a Johnny Carson, but everybody does a monologue, right? Now, mine aren't very humorous. They're more or less baseball insightful, but and I don't have cue cards here. But by the way, questions and comments the entire show. I want to hear from you. Let's fire a question off. Tell me, just off the top of your head of the lineup card we've got, will the Monarchs break the 148 regular season home runs they hit last year? That's an American Association record. Because I was trying to piece together a lineup earlier, and I could see that happening. All right, let's roll 2 good minutes of DV here on Rain Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. What a time it is to be a Monarch. Fresh up a championship season in 2021, we're closing in on an offseason that's been full of promise. Promise off the field with the roster that Joe Capietra has put together. Wow, huh? I mean, you return your playoff MVP and Gabby Guerrero, bombers like Yan Hernandez, Ibadel Isabel, the duo of Casey Gillespie, Darnell Sweeney. That lineup looks pretty good, right? Oh, and by the way, let's add at Cardinals playoff hero Pete Cosma, AAA talent David Thompson. Oh, and the pitching staff. I mean, Akeem Bostic and so, I mean, I can just go to the list of guys we got coming back. Jamison McGrain, our guest last week. I mean, the long list of guys. Look at the roster online. You're going, wow. I mean, that's a lot of promise, right? How about the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier? That was last Friday? Buck O'Neil had the Buck O'Neil Classic yesterday there with KU and Texas Southern. Buck O'Neil goes to the Hall of Fame this summer. Tossing events like last night and everything from tacos and tequila to lacrosse. What will the Monarchs do next? What will we do next? It's that the way it is. It is that way, right? That's the Monarch spirit. That next spirit to reign reborn, the legacy of the Monarchs. And that's that spirit that's got me fired up. As a broadcaster and a fan, and yes, I'm a fan, I'm fired up. I'm not swatting any other club. And you know, there's some really good clubs in our league. We get to cheer the Monarchs every day and celebrate history and the legacy of the Monarchs of yesterday. We celebrate Jackie Robinson. We celebrate his fans as the only Negro League team he played for. He only played for 3 teams, winter ball excluded. He wore a jersey for the Monarchs. That's pretty incredible, right? Jackie Robinson, the Monarch. We're blessed beyond belief to live in this time with the Monarchs. My hope for you and I is that we never forget how fortunate we are to live as fans of the Monarchs and never stop celebrating the spirit and the heart with KC in the middle of it. And that's 2 good minutes of DV right here on Reign Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. Heather, I'm going to bring this down. I'll get your question to you. I see a question there popping on the screen. Let's wait for Mike to stop by. Jan Hernandez is coming back. Yes, Heather. Along with Gabby Guerrero and Casey Gillespie and Darnell Sweeney and Emmanuel Isabel. Jan Hernandez is back, adding David Thompson and Pete Cosma to that lineup card. And, don't count out the catching duo. And yes, I mean duo, because Alexis Almeida is probably going to be one of the, split some time with JC Esquera. You've got 2 guys right there. And Esquera's a guy that's got some pop as well. So you've got a big-time lineup card coming back. Yeah, awesome is – that's the right answer, Heather. That's right. It's awesome. It's awesome. As he will be coming back this year. And, boy, the long bombs of Jan Hernandez. And he wasn't alone last year. I mean, just it seemed like every time I looked up, and I've gone through the highlights over and over again this offseason for several things we're doing, several different videos we put together. And there are a lot of impressive ones. If you ask me to narrow them down to the best, probably the Gabby Guerrero one that landed just shy of the sidewalk there, right there across from Target. But outside of that, they were all – that's probably 1A, and there are a lot of Bs, okay? There are a lot of Bs in every direction. Some impressive home runs hit by that entire lineup last year as the Monarchs rolled right along to the 2021 American Association Championship. And Joe Capietri, who, by the way, will be back with us next week. Our final visit with Joe on Reign Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs comes next week. We'll kind of catch up with the roster or the lineup card, or my guess the lineup and what Joe's. I don't think Joe would give me a lineup, but I'll try to prod him that way. Rusty, they saw the sweet tickets to Savannah Bananas. Rusty, I don't know that for sure. I do not know that answer. If anyone's listening back at Ticket HQ, Nick or Morgan, if you're walking by and seeing this, someone there at the ballpark let me know. I'd love that. Just text me. Let me know. I don't know the answer to that question. I do know there were suites left. Was it 2 weeks ago? I haven't checked since then, but I don't know. I don't want to tell you one way or the other and be the wrong answer here, but let me see if I can find out while we're waiting on the air here, waiting for Mike Hinneman to stop by here on a Reign Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. While we're waiting, I'm going to hold off with the hot stove for a moment. And I don't know if anybody's done this, and if you haven't, that's cool because I just did it today. I pulled the roster off the website, and you can do the same thing at monarchsbaseball.com, and I kind of played Joe Capietri. I put my Sharpie to things, and I was trying to figure out I mean, this lineup card is going to be pretty impressive. And Rusty, I believe they are. Now, My gut feeling is there is, but I would not guess many. The reason I say that is because I think I told you the story last week about the gentleman sitting next to me at opening day in Globe Life Field in Texas, who was like, he knew the game was sold out, and he was like, well, I think there was a suite or two left, he said, and I think I told that story last week, or maybe I told the podcast, but again, one way to find out, it's called the ballpark, and they will, or the website, either one, they can let you know. But I would call Nick there at the ballpark and get the bottom of it for sure. And of course, they may let me know here in just a few minutes. 913-328-5618. I should have that memorized, right? Operators are standing by. 913. Let me give you that number here. You can give them a call. Just go ahead and put the screen here for you while we're waiting. Again, Mike hit him, and I believe he's going to stop by on Hidden from the Pen. And that was the plan anyway, but we will find out. I'll just kind of put this up for you there. There you go. That's the number right there, Rusty. But we'll take your questions and comments here while we're waiting. Back to what I was saying. Has anybody else done this, put together now? I think that you can let's just start with the pitching staff while we're sitting here. Let me give you sort of, it looks like Keem Bostic for sure. I believe Kiva Sampson and Justin Schaefer will be in the mix. I have to get an update on contract status with those two, Sampson and Schaefer, but they do appear on our roster right now. I don't know if those contracts have come back. We'll find out from Joe and from Jay Hendricks next week. So there's 3 starters right there. I could see very easily a Brock Gilliam sliding into a spot there who was signed over the weekend. Justin Donatello, who also is still in the mix, and he started last year. And then your bullpen looks solid with Jeremy Rhodes. You've got Matt Blackham. You've got some guys like that. We talked about C.J. Carter, who's been signed. There's a lot of depth there. Brendan Coach, also a lot of depth in that pitching staff. And assuming Carlos Diaz is back, you got a pretty good pitching staff. But you're starting 9. What do you do here? Your Joe Capietro, Darnell Sweeney leads off. Now, I'm not going to tell you where he plays, but I'm assuming he plays the outfield, probably center, to guess. Batting second, I would think Pete Cosma slides into the number 2 spot. I'm going by last year. You figure Casey Gillespie playing first or DHing, batting third. And then you got Gabby probably DHing or playing, probably DHing there, but batting fourth, and Jan batting fifth, or flip those two. Ibadel Isabel batting 6th, David Thompson batting 7th. And then you're kind of down to, what do you do from there? Is it another, Kevin Santa or Alexis Almeida? There's a lot of depth there. And you look, I thought last year's lineup was pretty impressive. And, pretty impressive. And to see that, by the way, Corey says, visiting Legends Field last night made me hype for the season. Me too. I did glance over on the stream a little bit, just to kind of check, see what was going on ESPN Plus last night. It was part of that KU's video stream, and I knew where it was. I'd watched KU play Tech a couple weeks ago. Almeida then Santa. And again, I still think, I think I talked about this last week too, Casey, that Joe's kind of in that spot right now where you go to the grocery store, you got your list that you have, your weekly list, and you got those specialty. You go, I'm out of I don't know, I'm grilling steak tonight, but I need baked potatoes, right? So you roll the store for that one item. I think Joe's in that 1 item, 2 item category now. He's done his big shopping, and I can see that still going on. And remember, we're also going to see, because camp opens up the 5th, you're going to see that stretch where, first off, there's only 1 spring training game, official spring training game. You got your Bananas games, but you got your 1 real game against Lee Summit on Sunday the 8th. And so you don't have a lot of time to get that card going. And you also throw in the mix, that's one of the reasons I believe it's good to have a lot of familiar faces back. And number 2, you're going to see a situation, Joe is very big with this. We know Joe Capietro will find him. If he's got a situation, let's just say he's got 3 third basemen, okay? Or three closers, whatever position he's got a lot of wealth in, he'll find a spot for one of those guys somewhere else. He'll wheel and deal to move a guy to get a chance to play if he's not going to get a chance with the Monarchs. And that's what Joe does. Joe always puts the player first, and he will do that. And so what I'm giving you right now is in lieu of what could be added, which I do believe, adding the pieces like Pete Kozma you've added are going to give you one heck of a lineup. And Casey says the best thing in the lineup is and that's the thing. And when I tell you, for example, Sweeney, Kozma, Gillespie, Gabby, Jan, Ebendell, and Thompson, those 7, and then, Santa and Almeida, let's just throw those 9 in there. You've got some versatility. Darnell can play multiple positions. Jan Hernandez can play multiple positions. Jan played third last year at AAA in Louisville. Played right field for us. Esquera, I know, can catch, can play the infield as well. Cosman's very versatile, second and short. I believe David Thompson is as well. Casey's a first baseman. But you've got some versatility there. And you've got some places to play guys. And that's very important. We've talked about that lineup being very movable. So back to Corey. Yeah, Corey, I was fired up last night, seeing the highlights, seeing Kiana Sinks throughout the first pitch. That was really cool. Kiana, of course, communications down there at the Negro Leagues Museum, and she's become a big, big part of our baseball family, and great to see her throughout the first pitch. And then, of course, KU wearing fantastic looking. KU meets Monarchs, meets old school Buck O'Neill jerseys last night. They had the heart with the KU instead of KC, which I was talking about in my 2 minutes. And then the Texas Southern University, they used the Homestead Grays, which you saw those tops a lot last year in our Sunday ball games. So kind of stalling here, but let's see here. Waiting for KU Monarchs. That was amazing. And to buy one. Wow, you bought one. Cool. Yeah, those look really cool, by the way. Looked really, really cool. Well, we're waiting for Mike. I'm gonna go and jump in the hot stove. And the last time I did him for the pin, Mike came on at 12:30, so he may have got the time. And he was just coming back from holiday as well, so I do know that he may be running behind. So I'll just pull that down here. Go the hot stove update, and we're talking about just kind of filling out things, and we'll do that. By the way, your questions and comments again. Can the Monarchs? My question to you. Can the Monarchs break last year's home run total, the 148? Is that a doable total? I think very doable. I know it's almost an easy question to answer. On paper right now, I say it's a slam dunk. I guess my question should be, how much over that do they share that record by? Is it by 5, 6, 20? I mean, would you be shocked to see those numbers? I sure wouldn't be. But anyway. Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. Dan Vaughn with you. Let's pull the hot stove update for you there. And I'm going to move back on. I swear this was a little better today. Let me see. I'm pulling this up just a tad. Had it earlier, looking pretty good. Okay, the hot stove update. And again, we're kind of just shopping for pieces now. And it was pretty big in the pitching department, I would say. And I guess the headline should be local boys, or maybe in this case, local arms join Monarchs, as 2 local products join the Monarchs. To start with Brock Gilliam, who was the rookie signed last year out of Washburn, a phenomenal college career. His first taste of pro ball last year. Really enjoyed getting to know him. But Brock was signed over the weekend, and there he is. Let's just bring the graphic down there. You folks listening online on the podcast are probably going, what's he talking about? There we go. Brock Gilliam, 24-year-old, 6'1", 190, from right there, Basor, and just had a nice role. A guy that had a couple starts last year, was very economical in those starts, a good relief piece. And it's very important, especially the way this lineup looks, and this roster looks very veteran and LS4, LS3 heavy. The more rookies you have, and like Joe talks about, rookies who can contribute. And Brock Gilliam, who still is a rookie, can contribute. And that's a very big piece to get back. Welcome Brock back, a local product. And again, just did everything at Washburn when he was there, is back in the fold. So there's your item number one. Item number two, and again, going local here, and you, if you think back to the 2019 season, late moves helped then T-Bones. This was a late move too. This is a guy that, again, for all the players this club lost in pitching, Joe had to find replacements. Now, of course, the position, Jan Hernandez going, Emanuel Isabel getting inked, but all the arms over and over again, you saw Joe pluck arms. We saw Gilliam, and then now this gentleman right here, Matt Hall, Missouri Stater, former big leaguer, and a guy that is, I definitely think, on his way back. I'd be shocked if Matt Hall is there all year. But when he is there, I guarantee you're going to see one of the best arms in the league. You were seeing it. Probably a lot of folks don't even remember in the league that he was there, but he was. He came to the ball club late in August, was phenomenal his time with Kansas City, 28-year-old. And, of course, in the big leagues, was just such a dominating force in the postseason. In that stretch, the Monarchs just basically were unstoppable in August. He was part of it. And a guy that just, you knew, remember early on, you knew when Eric Stout was out there, you're like, okay, this is going pretty good. We're going to be fine. Very much like that. And it's the guy you plug in and you're saying, hey, you know what? Matt Hall, I mean, this is a guy that has been in the big leagues. He's not going to be wowed by the moment. I mean, this is a young man who's a 6th-round draft pick in 15 by Boston. Joined the Monarchs last year, 2-2, 28 ball games, and that was at AAA and also in the big leagues last year. A hold, save for AAA Worcester, AAA Red Sox. Pitched for the Tigers in 18 5-ball games, 19, 16 games, 4 games in the big leagues in Boston in 2020. He started both game ones of the divisional and championship series last year, and in game one, 6 innings, allowed 1 run, 6 hits while striking out 4. I mean, this is a guy, again, you're going to plug that kind of guy in there every time out. In the championship series, he was phenomenal. I mean, the whole season was phenomenal. Started championship game 1, pitched 6, allowed 4, struck out 7, gave up 7 hits, getting the win. And he even said he's very fired up to be back. And this is a guy locally. It was great. It's great to have local products back. And great to see local guys here. It's an honor to be playing for Joe and Mike. They're really great people. There's a really great staff behind the scenes and support in the front office. I look forward to another year with the Monarchs, bringing back a championship for Kansas City. I really love playing in front of my hometown fans. That's really that's cool. I mean, you got two guys back locally, and it's very important to get those guys locally. It's like we talked about when you face. Now, granted, we're not in the same division as Cleveland, but Cleveland has this unique advantage in DFW, this big market. They can just pluck any guy comes rolling through. It's very important to get your own backyard. We talk about that in college sports, and you can grab available arms in your own backyard. That's a big deal. And let's see here. Kenny says versatility. Lefty-righty combos are a premium in the game today. Nice balance lineup for sure. Yes, no doubt. And I didn't even cover that part, Kenny, but you're right. Sweeney a switch. KC switch. Yeah, I mean you got versatility there. I forget Thompson. What is Thompson? Just pull those up for you right here. Let's see here. Even a right, Pete's a right, Kevin's a left, Thompson's a righty, Gabby right, Jan right, Darnell switch. You definitely got it. JC Escara is a left-handed stick. I'd forgotten about that too. So yeah, very important. Versatility, and I don't think we talk about that enough, but versatility, should bring Kenny's comment down there. Versatility, very important overall, as you want those guys to be able to, not just position-wise, but also in, left and righty matchup combos. Very important. Here are the hot stove updates. So really, we're in a position now. We're waiting for a few more contracts to come in. I expect between now and next week, we'll see that happen. We'll get to that point where we'll have Joe on next week. We'll be able to kind of check off the marks. We're pretty much within a player or two. And, again, as I said, we get to town, everybody gets settled in. You can look at things, and maybe a great situation comes up. Joe gets a call from somebody saying, "Look, I need this, and you got this. What we can do?" Don't discount that too, but I still think. I mean, I don't think that you're going to see Joe go to town and just start trading pieces off. He loves what he's got right here. We'll talk more about that next week. And it's very interesting. In a year when the spring training schedule for KC is shorter, because I mean, what I mean by shorter, same length but fewer games, more inter-squad games, and with the banana games, you've got fewer real opportunities. Remember a couple of years ago, we played Gary a couple of games. You played Lincoln on the road. You only got the one game scheduled. And it's going to be very important in that short time. That's why familiarity will be so big for Kansas City next year. I'm going to go ahead and assume that maybe Mike is not joining us. I have not heard. So, Rain Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. By the way, the podcast can have a couple things for you that I'm going to give you that are not on this show. That's where I really dive into the extra bonus content. Monarchs 101 with DV. I'm going to give you a really cool story about a player that came up on Twitter today. I saw a Twitter post and I said, wait, I did a story on Heavy Johnson. We're going to talk about Heavy Johnson. Also a flashback to a Monarchs of yesteryear in our flashback moment. Those will be on the podcast. And wherever you get your podcast, Rain Reborn, the podcast edition, is right there. All right, questions, comments, fire them away here. I'm going to also get to what's been going on at the ballpark. I mentioned what a great day and what a great time it is to be a Monarch. I mean, and every year is a great time, but I mean, you got all the things you have going on. And I mentioned you have the championship from last year. I mean, that right there would be enough to carry anybody, right? Then you throw in all the extra things to do at the ballpark, the Buckle O'Neill Classic, the lacrosse, tacos and tequila. Oh, by the way, Jackie Robinson, who was a Monarch, the only Negro League team he played for with the Kansas City Monarchs. We're number 5. He only played for 3 teams, the 2 Dodger teams and the Monarchs. Played winter ball, of course, but his full seasons. Then I've got Buck O'Neill going to the Hall of Fame this summer. You get all that going on and a lot of great reasons to be fired up to be a Monarch, and I hope you're as fired up as I am. Last night I mentioned, and somebody just mentioned a moment ago, was Corey, that we had the KU Texas Southern game last night. And from everything I've heard, it was outstanding. Great stuff. Great event with those 2 schools. Of course, I mean, KU were in the throwbacks that look very much like the Buck O'Neill faves. And again, Texas Southern wearing the Homestead Grays. Looked like a really good event last night. Here's Mark Brandmeyer, the athletic director there at KU last night. Right? Last night? Yeah, it was like this yesterday, right? Yeah, this yesterday. So there we go. Yes, yesterday afternoon before the ball game is that is Travis Goff, AD, along with Monty. Got the owner of the Monarchs is a Jayhawk. Monty, I'm sure, is a Jayhawk. And then, of course, the AD of the Jayhawks right there last night. But what a great event. And thanks for you folks for coming out to the Buck O'Neill Classic last night. As other items of note as well, as we kind of move around here, we'll wrap this thing up. We got a couple things coming up. One in particular is the open house. Now, this may have seen this on Facebook. I know Morgan posted this earlier. But open house Wednesday the 27th. That's next Wednesday, 4 to 7 at the ballpark. The open house before the season begins. And it'll be a free hot dog on us, free entry at the yard. Open house. Check out the new, all the new things. I mean, that place. Again, I don't want to, when I say these kind of things, I don't want you to think I'm poo-pooing what was going on before. Well, maybe I am. The ballpark, she's a beaut. With the Legends Club and all the improvements, the field now is back to the way it was 2 years ago. The new playgrounds, the new area out in center field, all that's coming together in the investment that Wyandotte County, the Unified Government's done, and the Brandmeyer ownership group and Mark McKee and the entire front office. All those things that are going on, you want to come see those. So next week, open house, next Wednesday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'll give you a last call on questions here because I don't think Mike's going to be here today. I just think I have a feeling he thinks we're doing this tomorrow. We can't do it tomorrow because we have a special Zoom call on broadcast. By the way, I want to give you guys this little piece. I wasn't going to give it to you this week, but I'll give it to you anyway. I've got a great staff in play. Jackson Webb will be back with us. Jackson, who did our scores last year. Jackson's going to be upping his contributions, if you will. Jackson will be giving us scoreboard updates also in our video stream, which we're upgrading with a full pregame show and postgame. Jackson will be that guy down doing some things in the stands, interviewing Joe Capietro on the home games on the video stream. So welcome back, Jackson Webb. And also Caitlin Sanders is back. She was with me last year as well. And then I got a couple of three other gentlemen. Adam Cook doing some content work. Looking forward to having Adam back. And should be just a great crew right there. And then final two pieces of the puzzle. I've got a couple of gentlemen that'll be Caleb Grizzle. I got to pull up his resume here. I'm going to tell you the school there, but Caleb Grizzle is coming your way from I believe it is Grandview up in Des Moines. He'll be joining us. And Gabriel Lopez, also, who's from Baker University, will be joining us. By the way, Adam's from Baker as well. But my crew this year, looking forward to having him. You're going to see Jackson on quite a bit, Adam behind the scenes, and Caitlin behind the scenes, and Gabriel, and also going to have Caleb behind the scenes. All those folks on our Monarchs media team in 2022. And I mentioned some cool things. We got an expanded pregame show on the video side. Looking forward to that. We're going to have what you hear on the radio, you're going to also hear and see on the video stream. Pretty cool, huh? So that'll be fun. Also, what you heard on the radio, you're going to get the post game on the video as well. So you're not going to miss anything. Remember last year, you had to flip over from the video to the radio, but this year, if you're on one or the other, you're not going to miss anything. Get the entire show on both. Pretty fired up for that for us next year. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bail out here because I don't think Mike's coming our way. Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. The podcast will drop. It'll be very short. We're getting that situation where things are shorter. The content's getting shorter. We will drop a quick podcast. It won't be very long. There'll be some bonus content on there where we get your podcast at. Also next week, Joe Capietro. We're also going to be doing this coming up. We're going to bounce around the division. We're going to visit with Connor Ryan. I'm going to reach out to Michael Dixon. We're going to get with Lincoln. And then we someone from Fargo, Steve Schuster, who's now in our division with Winnipeg. We're going to jump around and talk to those folks and the folks in Sioux Falls as we get going. We really only have next Wednesday, the following Wednesday, and then we'll be opening week. How about that? So basically 2 more off-season shows, and we're basically in season mode anyway, right? So all good. I'll be in Kansas City on May 1st and ready to go with our first show of the year at the ballpark that Wednesday, which will be the 3rd. So pretty fired up about that as well. All right, last call for questions. Last call. Coming up next week, again, Joe Capietro. Stop by and give us an update on the roster, where we stand, whose contracts are still out, where we stand with that, and any other pieces of the puzzle. Plus, I expect we'll see something between now and then, kind of wrapping up the business end of things for the Kansas City Monarchs. Don't forget monarchsbaseball.com, your place for all your Monarchs news, our tickets, and merchandise, and all that. All of our social channels. Morgan Kalinda and her entire team are doing a great job, which right now I think is Morgan, her entire team. It's her, but Morgan with all the Instagram and TikToks and Facebooks and all that. You can follow me at Dan Vaughn Jr. on Twitter, and I'll be happy to follow you back, and love to have you folks. And, of course, all the Monarchs news on all of our channels going forward. Reborn with the Kansas City Monarchs. Glad you guys stopped by. Again, I'm kind of stalling here to see if I can give Mike just another minute or so. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but thanks for stopping by and swinging on by and dropping by. Show turned out to be a little shorter, but I had questions, and we don't have answers, but we'll get to that down the road. Sometimes this happens like that in live broadcast media. Again, I'm Dan Vaughn, voice of the Kansas City Monarchs. Hope you're as proud as I am to be part of the Monarchs family. And don't forget the Monarchs opening day, May 13th, a Friday, as the Monarchs will be celebrating the 2021 championship season and celebrating the opening night of 2022, which sure to be a fantastic time out at Legends Field. Again, thanks for stopping by. As I always tell you, folks, let's be better tomorrow than we were today. Let's show more love tomorrow than we did today going forward in 2022. You know, I got to pull the close up. I was kind of stalling here. I didn't pull the close up. I guess I should probably do that, don't you think? We want to close this thing out, right? A good close. Good close is good, right? Let's put that up there. How about let's do that real quick. Take care. Yes, Rusty, we'll see you at the ball yard. No doubt about it, for sure. I expect to see everybody at the ball yard. Let's pull this up. Where's my close? Promise you. Had it. There we go. All righty. Okay. Final time of 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. You guys ready? Everybody ready for a 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs? We always close this thing out with a 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. I'm ready. You're ready. All right. And for everybody that's been a part of this one, I'll see you guys next time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go Monarchs. I'll see you next time, everybody.